So today let's discuss about another topic from the lesson Care for Friends. So today I am going to discuss about the first aid to be given to different accidental cases. So here are some accidental cases and their first aids.
One is the wounds. What should you do when a wound is minor? First, you have to clean the wound with pure water. Then, you have to hold the wounded part high. Hold the wounded part tightly with a clean cloth to prevent bleeding, as you can see from the picture. Don't remove the blood clot from the injured person. The blood should be clotted. You should not remove it. Do not leave the wounds open because it may cause infection. Let the injured person be seated or laid comfortably if the injury is a serious one. Take the injured person to the hospital at the earliest if it is a serious case. Now, why should the first aid provider keep their hands clean? Why it is said so? Because there may be chances for the germs to sit on your hands. So if you wash the hands properly, the germs will go. If these germs happen to come onto the wound, it may cause infection. So that is why a first aid provider always should keep his hands clean. Now, what happens when a nosebleed occurs? What are the first aid you have to provide? Make the person sit leaning forward. Press the tip of the nose with thumb and forefinger. Ask the person to breathe through the mouth. Instead of breathing through the nose, tell him to breathe through the mouth. And don't let the person to talk. And after providing this all, you have to show them to a doctor. It is common, children, that is the dust going into our eyes. Nowadays, it's very common. So what will you do when a dust goes into the eyes? What first aid? We should not rub it because it may damage some of the cells which is present inside the eye. So it may damage that. So we should not rub the eye when the dust particles enter into the eye. Instead, how can we remove it through first aid? We can rinse the eye with clean water or remove the dust with a tip of wet kerchief. And you should not force it and remove. You should remove only with the help of a doctor, medical assistance. Next one is sprain. Sprain means it is a twist happening in your legs or hands. Or it happens while you are playing or you're stepping the downstairs and all. So what first aid you have to give when a sprain occurs? Hold the sprain part high without moving. Place a ice pack to reduce the pain. What is this ice pack? It is a plastic cover with ice pieces and water wrapped by a clean piece of cloth. Okay, so this is about an ice pack. Now, what first aid you have to give when a bruise occurs? Bruise is an injury happening while a heavy objects fall on the body. So you have to place a wet piece of cloth or an ice pack on the bruised part. Why do we do this? To avoid the pain or swelling. And you should never apply heat or massage that area. Next one is fainting. What will you do if your friend faints while playing in the playground? You have to make the person lie down. When he feels some discomfort, you make the person lie down. Then hold the legs high. Loosen the tight clothes. If he is wearing any tight clothes, you loosen it. Ensure fresh air by avoiding the crowds around the person. So these are the first aid you have to provide when your friend faints while playing. Next one is fracture. There may be chances for the bones to get fracture due to accidents. Here what happens means the surrounding body parts may not get injured. But what happened? The broken bone will come out of the body. So in such situation, you have to take care to prevent bleeding and germs from entering the wound and provide medical assistance immediately. And you should always shift the fractured person only after keeping the fractured part straight or intact. How can you keep this fractured part straight? By using a splint. A splint is nothing but it is used to prevent the movement of joints where two bones meet together. It is called a joint. So to prevent that movement of joint above and below the fractured bone, we use a splint. We can use a splint using a normal ruler or a thin piece of wood and cardboard. You can use any of this. Next, what happens when the food gets blocked in the throat? It is a very dangerous situation, children. So what first aid you have to provide? Press the stomach with one hand and tap strongly on the back of the affected person, as you can see from the picture. If the food does not come out even after this, do this 3 or 5 times and provide medical assistance or provide a doctor, send to a doctor immediately. Next one is burns. We know that burns can occur when acid falls on the body or when a hot substance falls on your body, when hot water or any hot substance falls in your body, there are chances for the burns to occur. So what should we do for such situation? You have to pour water continuously over the burnt area. Don't put ice on the burnt area. Don't pull away the clothes stuck to the burnt area. And don't apply anything as medicine on the burnt area. You should continuously pour water on the burnt area. Don't apply any medicine or don't put any ice onto the burnt area. Now what happens when a dress catches fire? Try to extinguish or try to put off the fire using water. Roll on the ground and it will help to put out the fire. Do not allow the person to run in panic. fire blazes by the wind. Fire can spread by the wind. So do not allow him to run. Cover the person immediately with a thick blanket or jute sack. So these are the things you have to do when a dress or when a person catches fire. Next first aid is for the snake bite. What you have to do means you have to console the person. Do not allow the person to run or walk. Wash the wound clean. Keep the bitten part lowered. Provide medical assistance at the earliest. If you provide medical assistance, you can save the life of that person, because some snakes will be poisonous, some will be non-poisonous. So we will not know which snake has bitten. If you identify the snake, the treatment will be very easy. Otherwise, you have to provide a medical assistance at the earliest. Now, next one is drowning. It is very important, children, that is the person who are going to help the other person who is drowning, he must know how to swim. Then only he can help that drowned person. So what first aid we have to give, or what should we do when we see a person is drowning? We have to bring a person who fell in water by providing him a long rope, cloth, or a piece of wood. And one should also take care not to go into the water. Okay, and do not jump into the water if you don't know to swim. You can try to seek the help of others. If you don't know to swim, don't jump into the water. Next is electric shock. There are a number of electric equipments in our home, schools, office, etc. So we should be having a great care. We should take a great care while we are using them. So how can you save a person from an electric shock, and what first aid you can give to him? You have to switch off the power supply. If the flow of current cannot be stopped, separate the affected person from electric connection using a glove or a dry piece of wood. And the first aids you can do is, you can check the person's breathing and pulse. You can call some local emergency services if a person is having trouble in breathing or when he loses his consciousness. And always keep the person warm by rubbing the hands or the legs. And if the person is showing some symptoms like vomiting and faint, raise their legs and feet slightly. So, and also cover any burnt areas with a sterile gloves, bandage, or a clean cloth. There are chances for the person to get burnt if he get a electric shock. So you have to cover it with a sterile gloves, bandage. Do not use blanket or towel because they are loose fibers, they are loose threads, can stick to the burns. So what all precautions to be taken to prevent electric shocks? Avoid water at all times when working with electricity. Never touch any electrical appliances with wet hands. Never use equipments with broken plugs. Always use insulated tools while working. If you are working with any electrical equipment at home, always turn off the mains. So these are certain precautions you have to take to prevent the electric shocks.
Hope you understood today's topic well. See you in the next class. Bye.